Welcome to Design Domination, where you'll gain confidence, clarity, and a competitive edge in a crowded marketplace so you can dominate your competition. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Colleen Grotzer, and in this episode of Design Domination, I'm getting into how to get what you want from clients. I know that so many designers spend so much time out of your day explaining to clients how to send files and what formats to send and why it's not a good idea to send images in a Word document or a PowerPoint document or to send edits in a whole new Word document, right? So stick around to find out how to get what you need from clients and have a much more pleasant working relationship with your clients too. Now, most designers do not explain to clients how to send files and which files they need. And so what happens is the client who doesn't do this type of work every day, and they usually don't know better, although some do, they will send you files that you can't use because they're the wrong format, right? Or they might be poor quality files. And then what happens? Well, you spend tons of time explaining to the client the types of files that you need, and you get frustrated. And then the client gets frustrated. And then they wonder why you didn't tell them this to begin with, because you're supposed to be the expert. So you end up wasting both your time and theirs. But it's not only time consuming to have to explain things over and over, to one client, but also to multiple clients over time. And when you don't get what you need, it also eats into your profit because you're having to take the time to explain, or you're having to work in a way that's not efficient for you, like extracting images from a PDF or from a Word document, or maybe copying text from Canva or something, right? In order to get what you need to do the job right. And then also too, the client might feel stupid, because they provided materials in a way that you didn't want to get them, right? And the thing is that people remember how you made them feel. So you don't want your clients to feel that way. You don't want them to feel stupid. You don't want them to feel like they're getting a slap on the wrist, right? So nip this in the bud and things will go much, much smoother for both of you. And you will also set the project up for success. Now, luckily for me, it's been quite some time since I've had an issue with getting what I need from clients. Because as my friend Katie says, I have things buttoned up. Well, when you have a lot going on, such as dealing with a broken hand and going to physical therapy twice a week and not getting much sleep because your dog has a collapsed trachea and coughs every 15 to 20 minutes, including at night, for the past month, well, things can fall through the cracks. So this just happened to me. I have a client that I love working with, and they graciously referred another contact within their organization to work with me. I sent them a proposal for the work and it got accepted. Sounds perfect, right? Well, we started working on the new design while waiting on the revised copy, which was supposed to be just minor edits. So we went ahead and we exported the copy from the PDF and then we cleaned it up because, as you may know, exporting text from Acrobat maintains any hyphens and line breaks. So it's messy. And so we had to remove the hyphens and line breaks and make sure what the paragraph breaks were where were needed, right? So anyway, we did all that. And then the revisions came in the form of an edited PDF. So no comments in the PDF saying what had changed, just a new PDF with that content already intact. And it also came with new images, and other images were removed that they no longer wanted to use. So, wow. This was not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting a PDF with comments letting us know the text edits they were making. And I thought, well, how could this have just happened? Because I always specify how I want files sent and how I want edits and, how to do it and so forth, right? So I went back to the proposal that I had sent them, and I noticed that it was missing the Work With Us page, which is where I always spell out what we need for copy, what we need for images, and how we want to receive edits and so forth. And it's like, how could I have left out such an important page? Oh, right. Little sleep, a broken hand, a sick dog. Anyway, I went back to the client and I apologized for not including these typical terms to begin with. And then I explained, what we needed. And so I'm now waiting on getting, what we need in the format that we need it. So this was a reminder of if you don't explain what you need to clients, then the client will determine on their own what that is and how to deliver it to you. It's also a good lesson that just because one client contact you work with already knows better that their colleague knows too. So you have to educate every new client you work with, even if they're within the same organization. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, it's actually pretty easy, and this is going to save you a ton of time. So you need to write up these guidelines, okay, for working with you. And then you also need to convey those guidelines. So you can have them on a web page, or you could have them as a page in your contracts, or you could have them as a PDF guide. But you want to write them up one time in one place, and you might update them over time, and then send that out. And so clients will know what is expected. Because remember, you're the expert, not them, okay? And you want to include in the guidelines a short statement about why these guidelines are important. Like, they will save you both time. They will make things more efficient, keep things on track. They'll eliminate back and forth, because nobody likes that. And then you can create sections for what you want them to provide, what you're going to address. So you might have a section for copy, right? You might have a section for sending edits. You might have another one that's about image formats and choosing images, maybe website login credentials, and so forth. Now, I like to include do's and don'ts in each section. So for example, I have a section on copy, and I list out some things that I want them to do, such as do, provide edited and proofread text. I don't want anything in the draft stage. No. Do, clearly name text and image files, as opposed to sending image files that are named DSC and some random number. You know, if I don't know who the photo was of, then how in the world can I know which photo goes where, right? In my don't section, one thing I state is to not send unfinal draft text to get started. That makes me crazy. Okay, let's design something and lay out all the text, and then let's change it all up on the next draft. Absolutely not. Now, the don'ts are things that I have encountered in the past, and I never, ever want to happen again. Now, I also have a section on submitting edits where I tell them how I want to get edits, and I explain why. Again, efficiency and reducing the possibility of errors, right? They should be on board with that, okay? One of the do's is I want only one point of contact. I don't want multiple people having conversations on proofs, and I can't tell if the edits need to be made or not, or I can't tell what the final edit is supposed to be. I do want you to use Acrobat to add comments to the proof. I don't want a new Word document where I cannot see what's changed. I don't want an email saying to make this edit on page 5, paragraph 2, which could change when other edits get made prior to that, right? When text reflows. I don't want to have to use a map to figure out where to make an edit. I don't want you to tell the printer that you have edits instead of telling me, where I can easily make the change and send them a new page. And that also ensures that I have the most up-to-date file. Okay, so I also tell clients about images. This is a big one, right? Don't send me images that you don't own or don't have permission to use, and that includes Google Images. Do find out if a credit needs to be provided with the image. Do make sure that you've gotten any releases from people in the photo if they're needed. I don't want to get any threatening letters from a stock image agency or someone else. Okay, do send image files as image files. Do not paste them into Word. And do send these formats: TIFF, JPEG, PNG, AI, PDF, or EPS, whatever it is that I need based on the type of work, right? I'll specify whatever I need. You can also include guidelines on resolution and even how to pick good stock photos or to pick good photos that they might own, such as don't send me a photo with someone's head cut off if you're featuring that person in your brochure. You might even have guidelines for how you want clients to send the actual files. So do you want them to email the files to you? Because often what happens is then you get things piecemeal. You get a few files in one email, and then you get another one in another email, right? And then some files are too big to email. And many clients won't know how to send them. Or they may not have an account to send them a certain way, right? So what you can do is just easily specify how you want them to send the files, whether that's via a Dropbox or a Google Drive folder that you set up. Maybe it's a client portal or something else that you send the link to make it super easy. I also specify that I might need source files for content that needs to be modified to be made accessible. Like if they send me an image of text that needs to be recreated or a chart that needs to be modified. Whatever guidelines you want to include depend on you and your clients and the type of work that you do. So think about how clients have provided you files in the past, and then what any of the issues were. And if something new comes up, which it likely will, add it to your list of do's and don'ts. And if you feel like, well, this is just too much for a client to handle, this is just more work for them, then I will share this. I've actually gotten really good feedback from clients after they've read my guidelines. And they are not only impressed, they find them helpful. They actually appreciate knowing what to do up front instead of guessing and wasting their time or mine and dragging out the project longer. They feel empowered rather than foolish because they didn't get it right the first time. Now, like I said, people will remember how you made them feel. Don't make them guess. Don't waste their time. Don't lecture them after the fact when you didn't get what you needed from them. Client education is super important for a smooth relationship. So tell the client up front how to help you. And then you set yourself, the client, and the project up for success. If this content was helpful, you can support the podcast by buying me a coffee. It might actually end up being a glass of wine or some tea, but you can go to buymeacoffee.com/creativeboost.